We recently launched something very new. I will just go to the main page of Databutton and I hover to templates. For everyone who is new out here, Databutton builds full stack app with React and TypeScript as the front end and Python/Fast API as the backend. And the agent connects this backend, the Fast API router, with the front end, which is in React, and you can just hit that one click button and you deploy your app. And this entire process is done by Databutton, which plans alongside you. You execute those planning, the task which Databutton generates for you, and then you have your full stack app. But one thing which a lot of users actually mentioned is, how about we have some pre-built stubs already packed within app? Something which we just need to click and get the main features out of it just with one click. We have heard those, and now we have something called as templates. And as it says here, the templates are designed to save you time and effort in getting to good start stage with your project. You just need to add your API keys, all packages, everything comes alongside with you, and you just need to hit the deployment button. For time being, we now already have 2 templates. All you need to do is databutton.com/templates. Here you get all the templates. So if you have any templates in suggestion, just write down in the comment section and I will be more than happy to add those as templates. So for today's video, I'll just try with one of these templates. This one is professional software as a service template. Looks pretty cool. It has your Firebase, which is the authentication. In Databutton, we have a very close integration with Firebase, and we also have Stripe out there. So this template comes pre-built with Firebase and Stripe. There's another template, which is a Streamlit template designed for general use with pre-built integrations included. It also has both Firebase and Stripe. We can use that, but this looks much more colorful. Looks like it has something more to offer. We will start and use this template, and I will just walk through the process and we'll see how far we reach with this template. Let's go through it. I will hit the use template button. Click that use template button. Databutton is now firing up its workspace. You will see that it starts with a very general message. Hi there, I am your AI builder, ready to help you create and deploy your custom application using the template project that's already set up with Firebase authentication, Stripe, and Firestore integrations. So we have 3 things inside this template. Firebase authentication. Databutton offers a very native integration with Firebase. If you guys have not watched the previous video, it's there in this channel with Firebase integration, and Databutton has it here. It just need to click this particular button here and you can add that Firebase. That's one thing. It also has a Stripe integration. We'll look into that, and it has Firestore integration. All comes packed within this template. Just few things to observe out here. First thing which Databutton did is it just successfully generated the workspace. And then we see out here, there are 2 tasks. As I just mentioned earlier, Databutton executes task basis. So let's say you have a task which is run Firebase configuration setup. And then your second task is a Stripe API keys and configuration. So that's the next task. So these are the 2 tasks which we just need to execute for running this template and deploying it. It's very simple. So while we start our first task, this particular task is now assigned out here in this agents. So agent has the full context and the memory of this task. You can literally go inside this task and read what's there. It comes all pre-built, so you just don't need to care about it, but it's all about running Firebase configuration setup, and it guides you through this process. Step 1, register a web app in Firebase. So it says go to the Firebase console, select a Firebase project. At the top section, you will find this icon, enter a nickname for your app, register it, and then you will see the Firebase configuration object, Firebase config. Copy this entire configuration object in your Databutton workspace, click the Firebase button at the top to input these values. Out here, we need to input this. I'll just simply follow this particular steps. And in case you need a documentation, and there are also details of these steps out here in the documentation part of Databutton, I highly encourage looking into that. But for time being, we just follow this process. What I would do is I just select Firebase console, and here comes my Firebase project. I will just create a new project. Let me just move this out here, this tab, so that I can just follow the steps Alright, I just made it sidewise so that we can follow along. So the first thing is go to the Firebase console, create a new project. I will say template test. And the next step would be to hit the continue button. I'll just hit continue, and another time it's continue, and then we just use our default account and I hit the create project. So when I create this project in Firebase side, so Firebase is a Google service provider. With Firebase, you can have your own database, you can have your storage, everything in this Firebase you can set up and connect it with Databutton. Alright, our template test project is ready now. I'll just hit the continue button. And now we are inside our template test project. The next part is at the top of the screen, click the icon, the web icon. So this is the web icon. I just need to click this, and here you have to add the app nickname. So I'll just say template app, and I'll just register this. So I click this start, and now I see there is this Firebase config details. I'll just copy this, and meanwhile I will hit the continue to console button. And once I hit that, I am now within my project. Meanwhile, I have already copied that, and it tells me copy this entire configuration details, which I did. The next part is in your Databutton workspace, click the Firebase button at the top and input these values. So I just hit this part, and I will just enter these values, and I hit the save config. Let's see what happens. So now Databutton is under the hood is working. So it's saying creating a login page, a logout page for our app, and I hope then it will be config and it will restore the workspace. So it takes in this config file. By the way, if someone who have forgot to copy that while creating that app, all you do is go to project settings, and if you come here, go down, and here you go. The Firebase config file details, it's here. By the way, your app is protected and it's done. It says that. So I'll just hit done button here. And when I hit the done button, if you notice carefully, it says that, great, let's continue with the next step. And the next step is set up Firebase service account. So we'll just blindly follow. To create the service account key, we'll just go to the Firebase console, navigate to project overview. Let's do that. We go to Firebase project overview, then go to the project settings. All right, we are already inside the project settings, and then we navigate to service account, which should be somewhere here. Let's see. Service accounts out here. And here it asks us to, under admin SDK, which is out here, Firebase SDK, here we need to generate new private key. All right, then I have to do the Python part. It says that select Python and then generate new private key. So I just hit generate new private key, and I hit generate key. I think we will download now. So we downloaded this particular file, pretty cool. And I open it now. Let me put it out here. So now we have the Firebase service account key. This is a JSON file. You see the format. All we need, I think we need to copy this. So the next step is we open the download JSON file. We copy the entire contents. We are done with the 7th step. Next part is in your Databutton workspace, go to settings and then to secrets. So if someone who is very new in Databutton, you click this part of your app, you will see all this configuration details. There is app, which has all this name, page, app description. You can even export the code. You can also upgrade workspace, the Hibernate, the clone app. You can do all this thing. But today we care about the secrets part. I did this horizontal scrolling, and here we go. And here it says that we have to create a new secrets account, which I see it's already there, and paste the JSON content, which we just copied. And I'll just hit this edit part, and I'll just paste it here, and I hit this. So our service account key is already there. So we are done with that step. Service account key will allow your backend to authenticate with Firebase service. Let me know when you have completed. So the whole point of this having service account key that we have a backend already pre-built within this template project. Now it's time to see our template project. If I now hit the preview button, let me expand this app here. Look into this, what it comes up with. It comes with a home page. It comes with an about me page, a dashboard page, feature 3, feature 2, all are dummy, I guess. A login page, the authentication part, that's the UI part. A logout page, a sign up page. And then it also says that it has a backend, because that's what it says, that the Firebase service account key helps with the backend. So let me just quickly open here, and here it goes. We have two backends. In Databutton, we have Python as the backend, Python/fast API router. So when I just scroll over them, you see these are the routers out here. That's the post message which this router will send. We can just open the code as well. Just click this and you see the entire code out here. This is pre-built with the template, so you don't even need to write a single line of code. And while I speak, I just want to let you know, which I didn't reveal until now, not a single credit is lost. You can see that via hitting the restore button. There is also another backend, which is Stripe backend. This is the main webhook which we need. We'll come to that. That's the backend out here. We have all these pages, and also we have a lot of UI components. All this coming together alongside with this template. They come pre-built alongside. And if I just go to the home page, just to let you know, these UI components are responsible for different building blocks of these pages. These UI components are nothing but the building blocks of the pages out here. Databutton itself is very well organized into pages, UI components, which are the building blocks of the pages, UI files or the utility files. So UI files are nothing but which takes care of this Firebase or your login or your sign up, or if you have Superbase, it will take care of that. Like the Stripe config key, these are nothing but your utility files. And in case you want to upload some media assets or your brand logo or something, just upload here in media public, upload here. That's it. And ask Databutton to add it in your app. And if you have some internal storage in mind, we can also upload it out here. That's all about the workspace. Let's ask Databutton. Have finished all. What's next? I'll just ask Databutton what's next now. So I've finished all the steps out there which it just suggested. So here it goes. Databutton said great progress. Now we go to the step 3, which is set up Firebase authentication. In your Firebase console, if I just go back now, go to the authentication. So the authentication is out here. And I go here in this build section, here comes the authentication part. It says go to the authentication and hit the get started button. So I hit the get started button out here. So we are enabling authentication for this particular app. And we can activate the sign-in methods. Let's say we use Google. Just enable it for this email and I hit the save button. We can also have other sign-in methods like Facebook, or if you have your own email, we can also enable that. We'll just add new provider and then I use email and password. So it will allow any email to get added. And I just hit the save button. So now we have 2 sign-in methods. That's Google and email and password. Now it says scroll down to the authorized domain section. So if I go to the settings section, under settings section, there is the authorized domain. So it asks me that I have to add this part, databutton.com. All right, let's do that. So I just go here, add domains, and I add databutton.com. That's one of them. The format, and then it says for deployment URL, you need to add your URL after deployment. The format will be this. So let's deploy our app for the first time. It's this template project, and I say template project, let's say V1, and I hit the deployment. Our deployment started. So once I deploy this particular app, I have to add the deployment URL, which comes in this form, https:/username.databutton.app. All right, we have deployed our app. As you can see, it's successfully deployed. And the next part is, as we said, that you just need to copy this deployment project. We copied the link and I just go here, add domain, add this domain, and that's it. We just add it here. We add it over our Firebase project under authorized domain, as out here it's suggested by Databutton. And the next part is now set up the Cloud Firestore. So we have finished everything related to the authorization. I'll just quickly make a comment out here why we need these 2 domains. The databutton.com is the domain which you whitelisted. So if you want to test within developmental stage, for that we need to have the databutton.com as a whitelisted domain. But when your app is deployed, like right now, we also need to have that deployed URL. We need to whitelist that domain as well. That's why we added that. But we still don't have any users. So before we test with our authentication, Databutton asks us to also add one more thing, which is about go to the project overview, click on the Cloud Firestore, create a database. Let's see if we just go to the project overview, and if I just go around here, I think it is the Firestore database. So here we need to create this Firestore database. Basically, we're enabling our Firestore database. It's very simple. all you need to do is hit this create database, and you just need to store. We are in Europe now, so it's Europe, and all we need is next. And then we can start in the test mode, which is pretty useful when you testing with your app. We are testing our template now. We start in the test mode. You can always go to your production or the live mode, which it's called as. And now it will create a first data store for us. It's a default way it comes with. You will see how the data store looks like. It's basically empty. So once we finish this part, you see there's nothing in this data store. There's no user over authentication as well. So the next part is now we have finished both authentication, setting up Cloud Firestore. Now it says once you have completed all this step, please go to the Firebase button at the very top of your workspace and click test connection. So let's do that. I'll span this window a bit here, this side. Let's focus on it. So we just hit Firebase out here and we hit the test connection. So right now, Databutton will test for us if the authentication or the database is properly set up or not. It gives us a report from there. Great news, the connection test was successful. All 4 tests have passed. Firebase config is valid. Firebase app initialized successfully. Firebase auth connection successful. Firestore connection successful. Auth, data store, both are successfully connected. Again, it gives some important notes, which I will just read out because I want to make sure that you guys do it correctly. Make sure you have enabled sign-in methods that we did out here, Google sign-in and the email and password. Remember to update Firestore rules to allow read or write, which we didn't do, but right now it should work well. But if you're changing your Firebase or Firestore's schema, then make sure you update the rules. So we have finished both this part. Now it's time to test the app. So we have this homepage, which looks pretty nice. It comes pre-built. That's fantastic. It's a template. We have all this thing, all dummy placeholder basically. And then we have the home page, the about page, the dashboard page, which is protected by sign-in. That's the Google sign-in. And you can just go back as well. All right, so let me just go back here and let you know why this particular dashboard page is actually behind the firewall or the Firebase authentication. That's because we have dashboard added with this particular sign, this particular shield sign. So it's protected basically. You cannot bypass that. So you can always open this, disable auth, but we won't do that. We want that out there in our dashboard page. I'll just go back and everything as it is, everything looks like it should work well. And we have this login and sign up as well if we just hover on top of it. And now when I say that all good, let's continue. It says that user has successfully completed all the checkpoints of TEM 1, which is the very first task which he had. Yes, Mark has done. I'll do that as well, but I'll just show you how good it is out here. If I go to the plan button here and you just notice carefully, when I hit yes, Mark done, from the progress, it came to done. So it keeps a track of your all the events. If I just open this part now, it also added activity. Each of the part which has been done by the agent, it's getting added. It's not only a tool or a notes which it is keeping into account. It's two-way sync. Whatever the agent is doing, whatever you as a user is directing to Databutton or the agent, it keeps a track of everything as a comment. You can go on adding more comments to it as well. So the next task will be our add Stripe API keys and configuration. So it says that I see the next task is about setting up Stripe API key. Would you like me to help guide you through this process? This task involves creating a Stripe pricing table, setting up necessary Stripe API keys as secrets in Databutton, configuring Stripe webhooks for your app. Yes, let's do that. I would actually finish each of this step and then come and demo this entire project. I think that would be fantastic. So let's see what are the tasks or what are the steps that we need to cover for Stripe integration. It starts from step 0. Let's set up Stripe API key and configuration for your app. I will guide you through each step. Check deployment status. Yes, our app is well deployed. Now it says log in to your Stripe dashboard. I'll just click this link. It will open to the Stripe dashboard out here. Hopefully, I have already a project called Databutton template. All right, so let's follow how Databutton says here. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go to Stripe dashboard, and then we search for create pricing table in the Stripe dashboard search bar, create a new pricing table with your desired pricing tiers. And then we just need to confirm the page to redirect back to the deployment dashboard. Okay, So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until the 5 step. We will do this. Let's start in working in our Stripe dashboard. So if you notice carefully, we are working in test mode. So when you start building something, it's recommended to start in the test mode. So if the test mode toggle is on, what I usually do is I just create a sandbox here. So I create a sandbox means you're creating your own environment within this particular project. So I will just say template test v1 and I hit create sandbox. So it creates that sandbox for me, that sandbox environment for me. And now that I should search for the create pricing table. So I'll create pricing table. I'll just search for it. We go to pricing table out here. And now we can create our product. So I think that's what Databutton said. Create a new pricing table with your desired pricing. Nice. We create our first product, add product. Let's say template starter. That's not bad. Template starter, starting starter template with basic features. And we hit the add product. And now we have this preview. Fantastic. But before going and just finishing this entire stuff, I will just add another product to it. I'll just say template pro. And we add this as well. Pro template with all features for scalable apps. Yeah. So you can literally sell your templates as well. And then I'll just make it for 100. Then I just add product to it. And now we have 2 products in our pricing table. So everything looks nice and we can just change the color as well. Just let me make it this color. It's a bit highlighted. We have highlighted product as well. You can just configure everything out here around it. Pills, we can just make it like pills. And we have a system font which is Chakra Ridge, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. And we hit the continue button here. You see the payment page here. That's perfect. So here we can actually have a redirect URL. So that's what it says out here. If I just go back here, it says that in the pricing table settings, set the confirmation page to redirect back to. So I'll just take this part and paste it here. That's my deployed URL. And I'll just add a dashboard. Why I'm doing that? It's mainly because if I go back, I want user to come back to this particular page, which is dashboard. That's all I want. Basically, that's what Databutton also suggested. Go towards dashboard. You can just redirect to any of this page, but just make sure that the URL is correctly added there. So I'll just add this. I'll just copy this, and then also I'll add the same thing for someone who pays with 100 NOx, and I will confirm everything now. And when we see this, the custom portal is there. The update plan is also there. Everything looks fine for me. And now I will just hit the finish button. And I think everything is set up now with the Stripe. The only thing which we must not forget is it says that know that the pricing table ID, you will need this for that. So the pricing table ID is this one. This part we need it. Okay, I'll just keep a copy of it. And we need to add this as secrets. We'll come how to add secrets in Databutton. It's very straightforward. As I said before, with the Firebase service account key, you just need to go to settings. And once you're in the settings, you just need to go secrets. And here you go. Here you will find something as Stripe pricing table ID. That's what we stole from here. And we just need to go to the edit section. Here we just need to add the Stripe pricing table ID. And we hit this. That's it. Once you're done with this part, we need the other part, Stripe API key, Stripe publishable key, and the Stripe Webhooks secret key. Databutton guides us throughout the process how to get those API secret key. So let's follow that. It's now, a Stripe dashboard. Search for API keys. All right, then let's search for API keys. If I now go here we already see publishable key and the secret key. All right, then I select the secret key and I go back here in the Stripe API key, and here I reveal it. And here I save it. By the way, these are all secrets, but it is in test mode. You can literally use start with the test mode and then configure to your live mode. So Stripe API key is saved now. The next part is the Stripe publishable API key, which is nothing but this part. And I copy this, and now I go back to the Stripe publishable API key. I'll just reveal this, and I save it here. As you see, it starts with PK_test. That's what your test mode is all about. I think we have covered with Stripe publishable API key, Stripe API key, and the Stripe pricing table ID. All of them is now added over our secrets. The next part, which we come from the step 1 to step 2, and we come now to the step 3 part, which is configure Stripe webhook key. So for the Stripe webhook key, it's very simple. All you do is select the webhook out here, and we create an event or a destination where the webhook will reach. We need to add an endpoint URL. This is very important, and this part we do take it slowly. So what we need for this is, we need to go to, for webhook URL, we need to go during same place in the settings, we need to go to production, and here we just copy this part. This is nothing but the API prefix which is exposed outside to Databutton's project. So what happens is Stripe sends or triggers a post message, and it triggers the backend of Databutton, which is out here. This backend gets triggered, and we need this particular backend's prefix or the URL link, or that we need to copy this API prefix. I've already copied it and I paste it here, but this is not everything. This is the roots is there. One last thing which you need to add to it, or we need to append to is the name which it needs to trigger, because a particular backend has lot of routers. If you see, it has webhook, it has subscription status, it has public keys, and it has test firestore. So here we need this router name, or the post/router, which is the webhook, that we need to add. So I'll just add webhook. Once you have this, you have to go for the next thing, which is select event. And you can just select one of these events, which is checkout session that completed, which is basically it occurs when out with successful payment, that when it's successfully completed, that particular event will get triggered. So I just add this event. This is the most important event. Make sure that you add that. Of course, you can add other events or other listeners to it. But for us right now, just for this demo purpose, checkout.session.completed is all we need. And that's the event which we need. And I add, after we added that endpoint, we come here. And from here, we need the last secret, which is the signing secret. And if I just open this, reveal this, I can just copy this part. So I'll just copy this. And that's the last secret which we need to save. So for that, I'll just go to secrets option. I can just hide this and now add our webhook secret key, which is nothing but this one. And if you see carefully, this is the Stripe webhook secret. That's the secret which you need to add. So we have covered all of them. I'll just quickly go through the Stripe API key, which we had in the very beginning, which is basically if I just go back to the API and I just search for it, we have the secret key, which is the Stripe API key. We have the publishable key, which is the Stripe publishable API key. The Stripe pricing table, if you just quickly press the Stripe pricing table and we just open this, and you will find the ID out here, this pricing table ID. That's what we need, and we paste it out here. And the webhook secret, if we just go back out here, webhook, and if I just go here, and here it goes. If I just reveal this, this is the signing secret which we need, which we added here. So all of them we have added, including the Firebase. So our auth is, hopefully it's ready. Our Stripe is hopefully ready. Now it's time to demo the app, or let's see what Databutton says next. All right, we have finished all the above steps. What's next? So we have finished almost all the websec from the two main steps which it said. One of them was the authentication. The next part was the setting up with the Stripe configuration. It says, would you like to mark TEM2, that is add Stripe API key, as complete or not? I will just quickly show you how it looks like. If I just go back now to the plan section, we are here. All of the steps we have finished now almost. And what I would do is I'll just say, yes, mark is done. Once this part is done, all you do is, we must not forget, we need to deploy the app. So I'll just click here and deploy the app again. All right, now it is successfully deployed. Okay, the next part is the moment of truth. What we're gonna do is we just hit this and we now go to the deployed version of our app. Hover over here and we hit, let's say, the sign up button, and it takes me here. I'll just sign up with Google and it brings me to this particular modal. And here I just sign up with one of my account. I hit the continue button. It should take me to dashboard. Here you go. But it says there is no active subscription. So we need to activate a plan. Last time when we were inside our project, this template project, and we just go over authentication part, there were no users. Now we have one more new users. That's fantastic. So authentication, which you just did right now with this particular account, we already see it over our Firebase. That's the authentication part which we did in the very beginning. I will show you again. I will log out from this part. I will just go back. I will again hit the, let's say, sign up button. And I'll just go sign up with Google. This time I'll try with a new account now. Let's say I try with this account now. Continue. I'll just go back to my here and I'll just refresh it. Hopefully we have another new user. So all these users are getting under this users tab in authentication. Now we test the subscription part. That's very interesting. So now we will check the view plans. If I go back in the view plans, now, if I just scroll down a bit, here you go. This was the embedding table which we had before, which we created over our stripes. We created out here, over here, we created this particular pricing table, if I remember correctly. This what we created together, and this particular pricing table is now embedded here. Let's try to subscribe with our starter plan. We hit the subscribe button. And now if I see, it takes us to a checkout page. I will add my own email. Let's say I add this email, let's say. And now we use the test key, so which is 42424242. That's how you test it. And now we say we give something which is in future, and then we add this, and I just give my name of row. I think that's all, and we hit the subscribe button. Once this subscription is done properly, it will redirect us back to the dashboard page. If you remember correctly, that's what we added there, a redirect URL. And now we are here. It's an active subscription with a different email although. But let's see if our Firestore data store has these details or not. So if I now go back here, and now if you remember correctly, I will just go to the data store part, and here comes the subscription with a unique ID, and we see the entire details out here. And it's the template starter. We can always go back here, manage subscription to, let's say, out here with the $100 or 100 NOK. If I use it and hit the subscribe button, we should see another time out here we see a new one, template pro, because it was the same email which was added. We see it's getting updated here. By the way, this is just towards the Firestore or the Firebase data store. Okay. Let's also see how it works in our Stripe. So if I go back to Stripe, I go back to customers now, you see there are two names with the same email out here. And that's what it shows, that it's getting updated over our customer section in our Stripe project or the Stripe sandbox, which we created in the very beginning. All right, then what's next now? We have the authentication. We had Stripe included out there. And now our webhook also works pretty well. One thing which I also want to cover here is the logs which we see over the Stripe, the correct webhook call. So if I just go to developer section here and I go to webhook and I just click this webhook endpoints, which we created in the very beginning, and I go to view logs out here, he will see all the correctly triggered webhook out here. We just make a quick refresh here. And now if I just see here the 200, okay. If I see the events out here, you see all the events are getting stored. These are the webhooks which you see out here. Check out the session had completed. These are two different timings when this worked. So make sure you check them. There where we see are the webhooks getting properly triggered or not. So what happens is Stripe is trying to access this particular backend, which is not with this shield, which is not under authentication. This needs to be triggered from Stripe, and here the entire code is there, the entire code to trigger Stripe and doing the rest of the post-processing. There where all these Firebase credentials are getting stored. If you see, go through this code, you can just start using the templates. You will see the code out there. It's very well written. All these are getting stored. The subscription ID, the details, the customer details, the product ID, all those are getting stored out there. So that's how the post-processing, the rest of the code is also getting triggered, and as a result we see over our collection those things get stored. That's how it works under the hood. But the best part is all you need is this template. Start with this template, follow the step-by-step process where you can add your API keys, hit the deploy button, again create an account in Stripe, add the webhook URL. This is all step-by-step process. It's very well written out here already. And if you follow how the agent guides you through this part, like the 2 plans which it has, that's all we need to get the Stripe and the authentication right from the template. All right, we have covered authentication and the Stripe payment. The last thing in this template which I want to show is how to add more things to this template. So I was thinking of adding a new task for this template. So I was thinking, like, we work a lot. If you're building a SaaS template, you need to connect to a database. Let's say you have an Airtable. Airtable is a very popular for your CMS or for your internal tools, for your own business tool. Airtable or Excel, all these are very, very popular. You want to connect to Airtable. So I'll just say, create a new task for me where I connect to my Airtable via the Python backend. So I want to connect to Airtable, which is one of the most popular database where you can just very well organized to maintain your data. That's something which is pretty powerful. And while I add this new task, you see it's out there. It's a new task created. Just a few things I want to add. We want to add this via the Python backend. This is one of the differentiator in Databutton. Databutton can create a robust Python backend, a fast API router, which allows you to connect with any Python packages. Something which I have not shown before. If I go to the settings part, go to the packages out here, any packages which are pip executable, you can use it here. So for our case, probably we need a package like request, or we need a package like Airtable if you want to use the Airtable. But let's see what the agent says. So in Databutton, you can easily create Python backend. You can easily integrate with any services which has a Python SDK, or you can just connect to it. That's a power which Databutton has, and we should just leverage it. So let's do it. It says that initially installing the appropriate Python packages for Airtable integration. It first says that we start this connect to Airtable via Python backend, and it says that install the appropriate Python packages for Airtable, setting up Airtable API key as secrets, creating backend API endpoints to fetch and update data from Airtable base, building UI component to demonstrate the connection working, and let's start working on this. So I just started this project immediately. It's started to install the packages, and once that installation is done, I think it will ask me about the Airtable API key, the Airtable base ID, the table name, and I have created a dummy data for it already. So this is my dummy business data with Airtable right now. All you do is create a new workspace, if I'm not wrong, or if you have used Airtable already. Just I dumped a lot of dummy data here. And now all I need is this particular URL and also probably a developer API key. I will ask Databutton about it. Let's go to our project in production. Guide me to get the Airtable API key. And I say this, that guide me to get the API key, because I don't know from where to get it. And it will just give me a step-by-step way to get the API key. So log into your Airtable account, which I already did now. Click on your profile icon avatar in the top right corner, select account from the drop down. Your account page, click the API section, and then from there you'll get it. Let's look into it. It's something like this. If I just go back here, this is my avatar. I think it should be the Builders Hub. If I go to Builders Hub, and I have one which I've created, so I'll just create a new one. Template v2, and I add a scope, maybe read put, and I create a token. Oh, I need this token, so I hit the done button. So we have now template v2. That's one of the API key which you need. All right, I have the secret /API key. Let's see if that's what we need. It says that it's thinking about what I said, and now it says that it's requesting for a secret, prompting me to add the secret here. I added it, send it. By the way, the package installation is over. If I can always check it here, and now it will also add a secrets out here. Airtable API key. So I think now we have to add the next part is a base ID and table name. But I just copy this and I tell Databutton, can you figure out from this URL? All right, so if I give this URL, I think Databutton can figure out from here and just add the base ID and the table name. I don't know. It extracted for me the base ID, table ID, the view ID, everything. Fantastic. That's all I need Databutton to do it. And now here comes the important part. It's writing an API file for us. We'll see soon a new API file out here. New backend, which will use Airtable, the package, and it will help us to connect with our Airtable. Integration of Airtable we are doing right there using the Python backend behind the auth, and it's doing it for us. If I now go back here, you see it has written the entire code out here. If I'm not wrong, it is using Airtable. That's the API and the base. Everything is there. And if I see it has created the router, the get, the post, the put, the delete, everything it has created for me just to show you how this works. This integration works, a very powerful integration. That was the main reason behind it. And as you can see, it has already created this endpoint and it's still writing the code. Its next part would be to integrate this to a component and then to a page. So it's saying that now I will create a Airtable demo component and then add it to a page. So the next thing would be in this here UI component, it will create a Airtable demo component. It's very stepwise. It's very organized in a way. It created the API. Next, it will actually save the key decision to task. If you go to a task, you will see it saved it, what it did. And again, the next part would be to create this demo UI component, the Airtable UI component, and then it will also create a new page for us, which hopefully we can add to our template. And that's how we expand a template and build a full-fledged app, which I think would cost a very few less. While speaking about this, we only use 2 credits, one for the Firebase also, basically 1 credit, even 0 credit actually was used for the template, and now 1 credit for the API integration. So the entire template was built with 0 credit. That's the most important part, because here the auth acceleration, it doesn't cost you any credit. It's something which probably it's a bug at our end, but that does not cost a single credit, even it's 1 credit to start with auth, Stripe integration. And now with the new Python integration, it cost us only 1 and the 2 for the UI component. Now you can see it's getting updated. All the versions are maintained here under this restore button, and you can see the checkpoints. Those are your credits. So we have already created a Stripe, a auth, Airtable integration, which has a Python backend connected to our UI component, which has been kind of embedded within this Airtable page. Everything step by step done via the agent. And if I go to plan, it's all via this plan. Everything. The plan started with a very, very brief description. From there, it's now writing it out. It's not me who has written this. Whatever task it does, the decision, it's adding it there. And that's how, based on one single task, the agent is executing it and helping us to extend our template. And then hopefully, in no time, we'll have this particular AI table fetched from the Airtable to our Databutton app. Fantastic. It's really nice to see how easily we can build our internal business solution, or we can just build a SaaS product, or we can literally create a dashboard from top of it. You can connect to any database. You can have any integration. There is a Python backend which helps to build this. All this data now from Airtable is out here in this particular page. It's accessible back from the home page itself. All I want now Databutton to do is it's updating the entire thing back to its learning. Can you give the home page a more SaaS-like business vibe as its internal tool as Airtable? Yeah, make sure it gets the vibe correctly. Yeah, it's all about the vibe coding. So make sure it's get the vibe correctly. It's like we have to convert this into a businessy vibe. That's why I just want to rebrand it. There is nothing, there's a lot of empty spaces out here, the CT and everything. Because it's a template which we used. This template needs some work. But nevertheless, you can see the power of template. Authentication. Here, the authentication, you just go to your dashboard. You can update your dashboard as well. It's via one of my email. There's a subscription plan, which you can just upgrade. Go to the view plan section. Yeah, you do a scrolling part. Go and subscribe. You have your Stripe integration from the template. And then you can add more features to it. Add a Airtable to your product. Add some other databases. Add a new authentication to it. Or you can just clean your entire homepage. Give it a different vibe. It all started from the template, and we're working on it slowly and slowly. And in no time, we'll have a brand new business solution or a SaaS app from zero with very few credit loss. And that's the charm of templates, and that's why we really wanted to bring that in. If you can see, it's added the product database based on the vibe, how it is. It has the Airtable demo out here. You can go to the back to home page. It's still working on it, but that's the charm. From template, you can rewrite the entire homepage. It's all started from the template, and now we have something entirely different based on the latest structure. That's what I'm saying. Start building with the template, and you can just build an entire solution from there. But all you need, authentication and the Stripe payment, and then you can just add few more codes to it. Databutton will build a complete business solution from the template for you. All right, guys. So that's all for today's video. Databutton is still working on making my own AI data management system, but I think we have already seen that templates are a pretty solid start to kickstart your SaaS building journey. If you guys have not tried out the templates, make sure to try the templates. It's just one click, use the template and start building with Databutton, and you can just have your SaaS product in no time. Cheers.